Ron Goodall, FightHype.com. I'm here with my guy Brandun Lee, who will make his ring return June 21st at the Prudential Center in Newark on ESPN. First and foremost, before I get into all the boxing stuff, been asked a million times, man. Where's Brandon Lee at, man? We miss him. Wonder where he's at. So
Yeah,
I know you just recently, just last week, just graduated with your
yeah,
criminal justice and bachelor's degree. So talk to me a little bit about that and how huge that was for you.
yeah. I got my bachelor's last Friday, so I was super dope. But yeah, man, my DMs are flooded with, where you at? Are you retired? Brandon Lee went MIA. But no, I want to take a step back from boxing and really finish my degree. This past Friday, I graduated with the bachelor's in criminal justice, and it's dope. Made my mother happy.
I know there was a Showtime segment you did back then where
Yeah,
essentially like you promised her and it was really
yeah, yeah.
important to her. So just to be able to fulfill that
Of
and
course.
actually to complete that, how happy
Yeah.
are you able to do that? Not just for yourself, but for her.
Um, It was all for her, whatever makes my mother happy. Back in 2020, Showtime came out and they filmed like a day in the camp, and I surprised her by showing her that I got accepted to college, and she started breaking down. So I knew how much it meant to her. So that was one of my main goals was to finish college, and I did this past Friday. Now it's time to go back to work and make some real noise in the boxing world.
Now, before we get into, the part we're talking about wanting to crack skulls again and all the fun
Yeah,
stuff, you've always told me how important it was as a boxer not to just focus on boxing, but also have like a plan B or plan C just in case things don't work out, in case you get injured or
yeah.
certain politics or things like that. So, do you feel like at this point, being able to now train, knowing you have ease of mind that something, in case anything happens, you're good. You have something.
Not necessarily. Boxing has always been plan A.
Hmm.
My schooling has always been plan B, but it's like here's plan A, plan B way over there. I'm not even thinking about plan B. It's all boxing. Boxing's always been the main goal. Boxing is what all I know. So we're gonna do something with the sport and we're gonna be great.
Now, even though you haven't had many professional fights in between, I think like
Mm,
one in like 2 years about.
yeah.
You've been in the gym heavily. You've
Yep.
been training a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously I haven't seen you blown up in weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was looking for the big cheeks, but
Nah, nah, not over here.
I've noticed some stuff on social media, and obviously some people have been kind of putting things together. Seeing that
Mm,
you've been in Robert Garcia's camp
yeah.
a
Yeah.
little bit, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Um, can you talk to me a little bit about that? Is that a, kind of a new addition or a
Yeah.
change or?
Yeah. So I'm training with Robert Garcia now. I've been training there since August. And really, it's just we just needed a change, and that's what happened.
I know your father's the one who's always trained you
Yeah,
since
yeah,
you were
yeah.
little, and so how did that? I guess is Robert going to now be kind of the one that works full time,
Yeah.
and is your dad still going to be in the corner, or is he just completely like?
I think my father's gonna be a fan now. I think it's just been me and my father for the past man like 16 years just going straight at it for boxing, and you know he's put in his overtime. So I think as he got older, he kind of just wants to sit back and just enjoy boxing versus having to worry about me all the time.
Was this something that he brought up to you on just on a regular day, or has this been something you guys been talking about? Because
For years, he's always been saying that, one day that I'm gonna run out of things to teach Brandon, and one day, he's gonna have to go on to the next trainer, and that day came sooner.
you know, um, a lot of times the father-son dynamics, I know you hear this all the time, right?
Hmm.
It's always like certain things may prevent, I guess, certain things from either working, right? Either the
Hmm.
relationship or maybe just maybe needing some extra help or just the fact that just maybe the son wants to do certain stuff. So
Yeah,
in this case, like um, a lot of times that, nine times ten, the father's always there for that.
yeah.
So um how do you feel about it? Are you happy with it, seeing that it's not something that is broken apart like a Roy Jones or you hear the father-son relationships.
Um, any father son duo, when your father's your coach and your son is the student, like the son always knows, how tough it could be. So, I'm just happy that my father doesn't have the extra weight on his shoulders no more,
Mm.
and he can enjoy boxing, just chillax.
That's awesome. The fact that you guys are working as a unit, as a team.
Yeah,
And Robert, recently just won Trainer of the Year,
yeah,
and he has a lot of great champions and he's recently had a great performance with, I think, Raymond Muay Thai, which
yep.
I think you were working with them, right? In this a
Um,
little bit or here and there.
Not for this camp, but we have sparred in the past, and he's a great fighter. His ring IQ is great, and his hand speed is great. And congratulations to him becoming IBF champion.
You know, that stable or that gym, I'm assuming you're at
Hmm.
the new gym. There's some stars on the floor, some empty
Yeah,
stars. So I'm assuming
absolutely.
you're gonna try to fill one of those stars up.
Absolutely. Every day I look at the floor, and I tell myself I need one of them. I need
Mm,
one. Yeah.
you know, um, so getting to your ring return, right? June 21st. I know that your opponent's 22 with 5 losses.
Hmm.
I know some fight fans, because you're highly, on BoxRec and everything,
Yeah.
the prestigious Brandun Lee with all the attention you've gotten. Um, I know that they want to have you accelerate. So at this point, would you say this is kind of like a fight to get back in kind of position or what do you know about your opponent? Is he a gamed opponent? Is he tough? What can you tell us?
Um, I'm taking this fight. I'm no way am I overlooking my opponent. Respect to any man that goes in the ring, especially with two hands. Um, but I'm just looking at this as a tune-up to get back in the mix and get back. Before I took time away from boxing, I was number 9 by IBF or number 8 by IBF, number 13 by WBC. So I was right there with the top guys. But I have a lot of catch up to do, and I'm coming back for everything. I'm coming back for everything and anything.
With that, I guess before you took your break, I know you've had a tough fight with Madera where,
Mm,
you experienced your first knockdown
mm,
and even had like a competitive fight with Pedro Campa.
mm.
I guess walk me through like that transition from like then to now, because I know that
Yeah.
a lot of people will probably speak, in a way where like, all right, he's having tough fights, things, and
Yeah.
he's taking this approach. So what's different now when you compare, your situation or mindset? Was it pretty much somewhere else?
As far as mindset, I was still there, but as far as physically, um, at the time I was 22, 23 years old. I'm 26 years old now. So I kind of grew into my body. I'm stronger, I hit harder, I'm faster, and I'm mentally wiser. So um, you know, I'm not taking away from any of those guys, but they fought a kid. I'm a grown ass man now, so it'll be different.
We got Richardson Hitchens who is fighting Cambosos.
Uh,
So do you think Richardson Hitchens is going to be the guy that's going to be? Because I know originally you were highly ranked in the IBF
yeah,
and it kind of hot potato like four
yeah.
times since then. So do you think Richardson Hitchens is the guy to maintain that IBF belt?
For now,
Mhm.
I mean, for now, that's it.
Yeah. I know there's Alberto Puello who's going to be fighting
Yeah,
Matias.
yeah.
I know originally when a lot of people didn't want to fight Matias,
Mhm.
people probably won't give you credit, but you were going through the IBF because you
Yeah.
wanted to fight Matias.
I wanted the IBF. Yeah, I still want the IBF.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's the angle that you're going. So you will be heavily.
absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna get rich or die trying.
So- Wait, so I know you posted that the 50 Cent. Was that
Yeah,
kind of hinting like that's what you want? The
the mentality. Is get rich or die trying. Swim or drown. That's really the mentality.
Okay, I thought you meant like get Richardson, like like get Richardson Hitchens.
Oh no, no, no,
But
no, no,
okay, I
no.
was like okay. Um, but outside of that,
But he get the work too though.
yeah, I mean, without Tio in the mix, I mean, do you see anyone as a definitive top guy at 140, or it's just everyone just kind of new?
I mean, I have no opinion. I have no opinion. Put him in front of me, and I'll shoot him down. It don't matter.
That's fair. That's fair. The fight fans love, hearing direct, but of course
Yeah.
I know that in this case, anyone, right? Any champion,
It
anyone,
really don't matter. Yeah,
anyone
I
will get
mean,
you.
I'm 26 years old. I'm young. I'm strong. I got a new team behind my back, so it's go time.
So with this Prudential Center fight with Newark, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the how did this fight get put together? Because I know it's Top Rank card, and
Mm.
is that just the relationship that Queensberry and Top Rank have that they were able to slide you in?
I believe so. I think my manager just, worked his magic and he got me on the card. So I'm looking forward to it. My first fight in 11 months. So it's gonna be a good one.
After this fight, do you guys have a plan that potentially you guys are going to be a lot more active, and that's pretty much the role?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to fight one more time after this fight. Hopefully again like in October, and then start fighting back to 3 times a year. Hopefully back in March.
You used to be around Bivol a lot when he was
Hmm.
training, and he had obviously, a big, big fight with R2 Beterbiev and kind
Hmm.
of representing, because we're all
Yeah,
actually technically
Korean. Yeah,
half Korean, right? He
yeah,
got one, right? And undisputed, but
yeah.
and you could be the second one that's on the rise. But how do you see Bivol and Arthur in that trilogy match? Because I know it's been very controversial leading into the third fight, who won what and things like that.
Man, there's so much talent between those guys. So much talent, so much speed, power, ring IQ. So really, it's any man's dub. May the best man win. I'm personally leaning towards Bivol, not because he's half Korean, but because I just like his style a little better.
I know you've seen him spar a lot, been around him, and have you had a chance to be around David Benavidez or?
David Benavidez, maybe like once or twice in the gym. Yeah,
Hmm.
super great dude, super humble, um, laid back, funny,
Hmm.
chill. Yeah.
So this is kind of like when like Floyd fought Pacquiao or something
Uh,
like a black and Asian on my side. So if Bivol would face David Benavidez, right? Because people are
yeah.
picking Bivol, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like your two sides, right? David and Bivol
Yeah,
going at
yeah.
it. If for undisputed, do you have like a perspective how that fight would play out?
Man, a big fight like that made the best man win. I'm a big fan of Bivol. I'm a big fan of Benavidez. I feel like about maybe five. I've been to like four or three out of the five past fights for David Benavidez. Every time he fights, I'm there. So I'm a big fan of his. For a fight like that, man, the best man win. I'm just gonna chill back in the seat and just be a fan.
Awesome. Another fight that has been not fully announced, but Manny has officially landed in
Yeah.
America. He's going to be trying to rewind the clock. He's 16 years older
Uh-huh.
than Mario Barrios.
Yeah.
He was just on the around 40 years old when he, did the Keith Thurman thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, is that ridiculous? I mean, is some raising concerns or is it possible?
Uh, Man, that's a boxing heart. You just like you don't know when to hang it up. I feel like, he don't need a fight, but he wants a fight. So it's the same thing like when I go do my miles and I see dudes running, but then they go to work like in the morning when I go run and I see people like getting their miles in before they go to work. In my head, I'm like, damn, you just running for fun. I'm running because this is my job. So I mean, like, props to those people because they just do it out of the love.
Mhm. Do you think at a certain point though, like, I know the saying is only a fighter would know, right? And
Uh,
it would be remiss to count out a legend like Manny Pacquiao when we see
uh,
guys like George Foreman and Bernard Hopkins and so on, like, Archie Moore, guys like that do some freaky stuff at a later age. But is there kind of a point where if you look at the sport, do you feel like at a certain point you have to protect fighters a little bit, or do you just have to let a legend like Manny just go out and we have to see what happens?
um, man, I mean, I feel like that goes to like no one could tell me I'm fit to fight or not. Only I know if I'm fit to
Mhm.
fight or not. So it goes something not exactly along those lines, but something along those lines. I mean, Manny Pacquiao wouldn't be coming out here if he didn't believe in himself, if he knew he wasn't capable of beating Mario Barrios. So, um, I'm sure Manny's training. His age is a little scary, but I'm sure he's gonna come ready.
Would you be shocked if he was able to pull it off? Because I know a lot of people are counting him out simply because he's uh,
Would I be shocked? Absolutely not. He's a legend. It's Manny Pacquiao. If Barrios wins, would I be shocked? No. I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think I'm gonna sit back and be a fan. I'm like, let me see if Pacquiao still got it at 46.